Hello, fabulous Aries. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of November 2020, looking at life and love. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. It is a remarkable astrological month, without a doubt. Now, that is part of a very remarkable astrological year. I will give you that. As we begin the month, there is going to be the energy of the full moon that is still with us. Now, I did speak about that rare full blue moon conjunct Uranus at some length in the monthly horoscope for last month. So you may want to have another look at that because that is energy we're bringing into this month. But for you, energy is going to change, as energy has a tendency to do. And in particular, by the time we get to the middle of the month, there are two big things taking place. It is going to be in the dark of the moon, right around the 13th or 14th, depending on where you are on the planet. That is when your ruling planet in your sign will go direct. And then about a day later is when we are going to have a new moon. Now, this new moon is different from the energies as of late because it is speaking in harmony with big power players in the sky, mainly in harmony with Jupiter, with Pluto, even with Saturn as well. So I do feel, if you reflect on last month, all that very intense energy, we had all these squares, all this tension. Well, all of that is going to give way to a moment of shift, a moment of release, and a moment of change, especially for you. This new moon that is going to take place mid-month is happening in a part of the sky for you that has to do with profound and meaningful transformation. This is a part of the sky that connects you to an alchemical process, an alchemical journey. Now, alchemy is turning lead into gold. It is the ancient practice and philosophy and spirituality of taking what it is that is burdensome and turning it into great wealth. And so in some way, and in one way or another, I do think for the Aries out there, there's going to be this sense of a penny dropping, this sense of things shifting rather quickly, and you being empowered in some way. You understanding how to best use your energy, how to best take ownership for where you have power, but also empowering as well, understanding where you don't have power and deciding to turn that over, to surrender those things you have no power over. Now, with this new moon, focus is also going to come on your relationship to financial institutions. And so this may be a time when you are looking at things like grants and loans and bursaries and insurance payments and benefits you may qualify for. Now, do expect that you may need to hustle just a little bit. That is because the type of harmonious connection here that this new moon is making with these big power players, this is what astrologers call a sextile. And it is the universe pointing the way and also granting you some motivation, some understanding that if there is action you take, you can improve your circumstances. But it does require you to actually take that action. It isn't necessarily that great things just pop up out of nowhere. That can be the case at times, but at other times, the universe wants you to understand something about yourself through your taking ownership and action. And that is the case now. So you may be moving towards a greater sense of wealth and feeling as if things can go well for you where it comes to financial matters. But it does require that you take some of those first steps that aren't always easy, but ultimately will empower you very well. And at the very end of the month, that is when we will begin eclipse season. We are going to have the first of two eclipses. The next one will take place next month. This is a lunar eclipse, and it is happening in a very communicative part of your sky, a very synchronistic part of your sky. And having a lunar eclipse here tends to indicate very, sometimes, abrupt endings. Now, here's the thing to remember with this very special eclipse, that it is speaking in harmony with Chiron. Chiron is a planet that speaks to an understanding of where it is, not only that your healing is, but with a lunar eclipse, where it is that healing can happen very quickly. The troubles or the burdens of the past can be put behind you. Now, there is a wide harmonious alignment, meaning it's not as precise, but still can play a factor with Mars, which does suggest energy and excitement, but also with Mars in your sign, newly direct, a sense of what is happening here being deeply meaningful to you. So this part of the sky can speak to a few different things. Sibling, cousins, and neighbors are covered here. There may be some very surprising news around these people at this time. It may or may not directly have to do with you, but if it does evoke the relationship that you have with them, ultimately, whatever comes to light now comes forward very quickly. It is going to be part of what helps the two of you find genuine understanding and genuine healing, or at the very least help you to understand what a healthy relationship with this person entails and a healthy approach on your part so that you are taking the best of care of you as you interact with these people. Now, this part of the sky also connects to communication, conversation, contracts as well. There may be very quick, perhaps very synchronistic, spontaneous moments and opportunities where you get a chance to have that long put off conversation. You feel like you run into the right person at the right time, and it makes a big difference. Now, this can also be the chance to come to an agreement that comes up very quickly, or it could be that you get a message that takes you aback in some way, but ultimately can be very healing, can be very empowering to you as well. So be on the lookout to what texts and emails are coming in, because there is going to be this measure of karmic significance to them. That's what eclipses do indicate. They indicate a time that is about alignment with a higher, more loving vision for your life. They do represent an alignment with something that is more suited to the growth and the future that you are moving towards in a higher sense. What it is that works with that future, well, more of that comes in. But with a lunar eclipse, it tends to be more the case that what doesn't work with that future, that more promising future for yourself, well, it has a way of falling away. Think about all those times when something ended and you were really grateful for it. Well, that's what becomes possible under the energy of this eclipse. Now, let's talk about matters of love. For the first 3 weeks of this month, Venus is going to be moving through your opposite sign. For the first 10 days, Mercury will be in your opposite sign as well. But more significantly, it is as we begin the month that Mercury is slowing down to a standstill and will, right around the 3rd, officially go direct. Now, the fact that all this is playing out in your opposite sign does suggest that another person is part of either the picture or in purview in some way. And it is going to be at this time that you are coming to some realizations about the alliances that you have with others. Now, these could be professional alliances, business alliances, but I do think the overwhelming majority of Aries out there are going to experience this energy of Venus and Mercury in the context of love. If it is that you are open to meeting someone new, I would invite you to consider what was taking place in your life in the last days of September. Think all the way back, the last 10 days of September, because it was at that time that Mercury is, or was, where he is now as you begin this month. And what is transpiring now will in some way mirror some of the learning back then. But now we have Venus here encouraging you to see with eyes of kindness and eyes of love. It could be that someone you met who made an impression at that time but kind of went away reappears, especially in the first days of this month. You may see them very differently. You may have a different opinion or a different perspective, or maybe even how attracted you are or aren't could be something that changes for you. So do watch what is happening in the first days of the month in particular. But as Venus moves through your opposite sign, is going to be making some difficult alignments with other power players. And that is something that you are also going to want to watch. It can indicate that the first 3 weeks of the month do have very powerful attractions to other people, but also some need for restraint that is playing out as well. Now, for those of you who are just starting to date somebody, I do feel like there is a strong moment of truth that is going to be playing out, especially in the first days of this month. And that is because as Mercury stands still in the sky, goes direct, will be doing so while connecting in a conversation of tension with Saturn. As we navigate forward, it is going to be Venus making these challenging connections with Pluto, with Saturn, with Jupiter as well. And so it does suggest that you are having to look at some reality of the situation, some truth about this person, and coming to decide what is going to mean for you and for the two of you moving forward from here. Is it that you can accept what it is that is playing out? Now, I have been saying to the superstars, certainly as we've been going along week to week, breakups that happen with Mercury in your opposite sign tend to not stay broken up when we have that Mercury in a retrograde season, as you have had part of this Mercury retrograde season in your opposite sign. And so you are one of the signs that needs to be mindful of the fact that there may have been some misunderstanding, miscommunication that is going to be cleared up very quickly in the first days of the month. But then how do you move forward from here? Well, that is going to be a journey of its own. Now, for those of you in an established bond, again, breakups that happen with Mercury retrograde in your opposite sign tend to not stay broken up. The likelihood of not only misunderstandings, but also where it was that you didn't realize you had misunderstood, but now very quickly do realize that becomes very likely in the first days of the month. But as we navigate forward, how it is that the two of you are going to make sense, are going to integrate with the new understandings that have arisen, well, ultimately that is going to show you how dedicated the two of you are to coming to a new understanding that ultimately can help the two of you move forward into a stronger future. Ultimately, Venus in your opposite sign is an energy of blessing. And where love is there, that can only grow stronger. What I love about this month for you, well, look, there's a lot here. It is a very active astrological month. I feel in some ways that I've barely scratched the surface, but I did touch on some of the really big things, especially for you. And it is going to be this month that you will find things start to change for you as you come to a deeper understanding of how things really are, beyond the desire, beyond the superfluous, beyond the superficial. As you get to the truth, there's something very empowering and very liberating about it. At the same time, the fact that Mars in your sign is going direct, well, I think that that is one of the best omens, signifying that you are ready to move forward in the best possible sense. Well, thank you so much for watching. You can get a video like this every week by logging on to nadiyashah.com. Sign up to be one of my superstars. Superstars get expanded, exclusive videoscopes each and every week, unlimited access to special horoscopes and more. All of this in the superstar space. I look forward to meeting you there. It'll be a great month. Enjoy.